Hey, what is up guys, Guitar Rock here, welcome back to another Brown Dust video. Alright, Season 2 has begun and they have given up to every single account I believe out there a free 5-star mercenary. And guess who I got from my free 5-star mercenary? None other than Victor, probably the worst warrior out there. I can't believe I got him. Oh man, I'm just gonna like save him for my collection and things like that. Alright, so let's talk about the new Octos. So I've checked out these skills already, but I'm gonna go through one more time in this video. We're gonna do a quick analysis. Hopefully I'll give my thoughts as always, just like videos like this when they release a new heroes. If you guys are new here, welcome. I usually do mercenary analysis when they release it in a new update. So this time we have 6 total of new mercenaries added in the game, but I'm gonna focus on the 4 new Dominus Octos. Alright, so just focusing on them. So there's a new feature where if you have certain mercenaries, you can now collect a bunch of diamonds if you recruit, awaken, achieve 6-star max level, and then skill them up all to +3, 6, and 9 respectively. You get a whole bunch of diamonds just by doing so. So yeah, you might want to start collecting more mercenaries and awaken them, ranking them up, and things like that, just for the free diamonds. Alright, so the 4 Dominus Octos are Velfern, Vals, I think that's how you pronounce her name, Valze, Vals. We have Mammon Air right here, it's a tentacle riding lady. And lastly, Asmode. Who would name themselves Asmode? I have no idea why. I find that name extremely hilarious, but alright, let's just proceed with it. Okay, so we're gonna cover Velfern first. This guy is a magician. Let's have a look at his skills. As far as I remember, he's all about fixed damage. So first one, deals fixed additional damage based on the number of applied debuff skill type to enemies. So that is very cool. Number of enemies debuff skill type times attack times 100% additional damage. Alright, so since this is a fixed damage, it doesn't, like you can have a look at here, it doesn't crit. There's no use in increasing his crit rate or crit damage. It just deals a fixed amount of damage. Obviously defense or AG or any barrier that the opponent has will not take effect. So very cool skill right there. So the second skill we have deals fixed additional damage to enemies in proportion to the number of graves in both battlefields. So this is very cool. So the more opponents and allies dead, the more damage this guy will deal, which is insane. Times 20% additional damage. It's fixed as well. And we have this skill. So this is a very unique concept. It's basically an energy guard. Consumes energy before one's own HP. So you have this energy barrier protecting you, and you still have your HP as always. So that's like an additional HP, so-called, that they call it the energy. So this guard will expire when all amount of energy is consumed. When receiving more damage than the remaining energy, the HP will be consumed. So basically the max energy is equals to max HP times 150%. So the more HP you have, the higher the amount of energy you will have. So that's like your barrier of protection. And there's every turn you get to restore a certain amount of it. In this case, max energy restoring amount equals to max HP times 10%. So this is at +0. Obviously if you increase your skill, it increases times 12, times 15, and so forth. So at +9, this guy seems like a beast. Number of enemies, this one is times 150% additional damage. This is times 50% additional damage, and there's this immunity to debuff, and we have this max energy thing increase all the way to times 300% and 20% recharge every single turn. Very cool. Awakening skill, not really a big fan, but it could potentially save you because 95% defense, that's going to be very helpful to increase your tankiness for 2 turns before your normal attack. Alright, overall, yeah, I think Velfern is pretty cool. He might actually be the strongest magician. Yeah, there's not much magician in terms of legendaries. I think Celia is alright. I mean, Celia is definitely needed for Grand Deck, but I think Velfern is much more, what's the word I'm looking for? Versatile. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Since he might be usable in all the other game modes as well. Evil Castle, you might be able to use him effectively, since fixed additional damage, that's something that you can take advantage of. Moving on, we have Vals. So this girl can only be obtained from the legend pools. You cannot use ancient coins to purchase her. She's legend coins exclusive. So let's have a look. Alright, at +0, removes already applied buff skill type. Very cool. So ignores enemies incoming damage reduction and deals additional damage. I really like this. So yeah, it's sort of like a fixed damage thing since it's reduces incoming damage reduction, but I think opponent with high defense will still be tanky and will be able to survive her hits. So that's something to keep in mind. Crit damage before battle times 15% crit rate boost. So this is very cool. A skill that I've never seen before, permanent fatal fury. So basically the more crit damage she has, the more crit rate she will have as well. And lastly, we have Death Guard. So this will effectively protect her from dying for 2 turns. Very cool. Alright, so let's have a look at +9. What do we have? Alright, so buff prohibition, really loving it. That range with buff prohibition is very deadly. Alright, so of course you have the advanced bloody bash, ignores enemies incoming damage reduction, so heals HP as well. That is pretty broken if you ask me. So increases crit rate and attack based on how much crit damage she has. So obviously you want to give her 2 rage runes, the strongest rage runes you have. If you have her, that means she will benefit more from the higher amount of crit rate boost and attack boost as well. Alright, very cool. Can't wait to obtain her. It's going to take forever, but yeah. Because the chance for obtaining Octos in the Legend Scrolls are quite low, so we'll try our luck later on. Alright, so next up we have Mammon Air. So this is a very cool mercenary, legendary mercenary as well. The range, not really a big fan. It's very front, so usually people place their Archon and Lucius on the very front, so that means she won't be able to do much damage. She seems more like an attacker though, as opposed to the defender, with the exception of this skill, the Energy Guard, which is similar to Velfern's one. You can basically look at the description right here. So max energy, there's this new barrier that protects her before her HP is being reduced. So she has this that counter attacks when the enemy attacks her, basically nullifier, means it will remove their buff. So that could be cool. It removes the buff after she is attacked. And there's this skill which ignores enemies incoming damage reduction and deals additional damage. So this is an odd one because she is a defender class. I don't see why she needs this skill. It's kind of weird. I wish they would give her some sort of barrier right here as opposed to something like this, but I guess it's cool. You can sort of make her tank and attack at the same time. And we have immune to debuff as the awakening skill. So at +9, you will get all the way here 300%. So buff prohibition as well, very cool. And attack times 300% addition to the damage. So if you want the best output in terms of raw damage, you might want to go for 2 assault runes, but if you want her to tank a little bit, maybe 1 assault and 1 vital will help with this energy guard thing. So yeah, very cool, very cool. And the last one we have is Asmode. So this guy, let's have a look. So immune to debuff skill types, okay. Applies charm skill to oneself. So he applies charm to himself, supports the enemies in the front of the same line due to charm effect. Oh, that is very interesting. So instead of a supporter, he is more of a debuffer towards the enemy. So he applies charm to himself. Whenever your mercenary is charmed, they tend to attack the opponent. But since he is a supporter, he won't attack the opponent, but instead he will apply basically the debuff to the opponent. So he has the additional effect of reducing the incoming damage, so that is cool. Let's have a look at the remaining skills. So support times 15% reduced defense. Wow, this is the first time we have something to do with defense. Usually when we come to supporters, they tend to either be offensive type, and those defensive supporters tend to have something to do with reduces incoming damage as opposed to increases defense or reducing defense. So this is the first time actually, very cool. And then we have ignores enemies' incoming damage reduction skill types and deals additional damage. Oh, it deals damage as well based on the enemy's current HP. And it pillages their buffs. Very cool. And last one, applied charm to the enemy who attacks. Wow, I'm actually quite surprised at the uniqueness of this particular unit right here. Let's have a look at +9. Now I'm curious. Immune to debuff skill types. Okay, support times 35%. Okay, that's a lot of reduction in incoming damage, and HP healing every single turn. So 20% reduced defense for the opponent, and enemy's current HP times 35% additional damage. That could be useful in world boss and things like that as well, I think. Might be able to do some additional damage right there, and still debuffs. And every single enemy who attacks this guy will get charm. He might be able to combo with something like a John to taunt him, so that he can, you know, be the taunter and debuffer at the same time. This is like a much better version of Iris actually. Iris is a 4-star that has the ability to charm and taunt at the same time. This guy doesn't have it, but if you pair it with John, he might serve better. I can see him being really good in a lot of teams. Alright, so basically that's all for the Dominus Octo. I still think that Velfern is probably one of the better ones to go for. And this guy and Vals are both pretty good, but since they are only limited to Legend Scrolls, you might want to go for either Velfern or Mammon Air. I highly recommend Velfern if you have the ancient coins. I've already recruited one, so I'm going to include the footage of me recruiting it after long process of thoughts. So yeah, enjoy.
Like a diamond